No, Taylor Swift's album is not bad at all. It's exactly the same as every other piece of art that she has released previously. What's different now is the fact that you're changing. Astrologically, we are in the downfall of colonialism. So, it doesn't matter what she would have released, it was always going to be ripped to shreds from 2025 onwards. May I remind you, did I not tell you that fascism would return? Did I not tell you some shit's going to kick off in 2025, which triggers quite a big international war in 2030? We're currently seeing through the same transits that led up to World War II and any kind of major international conflict that we've seen previously. Art and entertainment plays a big role in that build-up. You know what? Grab a cup of jar, get comfortable, let's have a candid cosmic chit-chat about it all. So, currently, Gaethor, a planet which symbolizes venomous speech, radical truths, artistry, and most importantly, our ancestral karmas or karmas which have not been processed from a previous life. It's going through the 9 types of Leo, and the most poignant part of Leo would be Uttafaguni. That's Leo type 9. Uttafaguni is ruled by Aruman. Aruman is this deity that symbolizes the responsibilities in our partnerships, social values, social responsibilities, and really interestingly, it's a sign that you see so heavily throughout very successful figures in not just the media and entertainment industry, but politics too. Building on from that, traditionally, when Gaethor has gone through the Falguni, you see huge changes in people's consumer behaviors. And I think you have to pay attention to what's also happening politically at that time. So we find at this time, a lot of the citizens become very disengaged from the said political leaders. They're no longer trusting them. They're not very charmed by them. They feel there's generally like a power struggle that's becoming more and more visible, right? And I believe the frustration or the realizations with what the political landscape is and how they've been taken advantage of, that energy transfers into the entertainment and media industry. Because look at it like this. It's not though those politicians are any different, but something is happening in those people's lives where whether it's a quality of life is decreasing, whether it's increased violence in terms of social injustices, but all of a sudden it starts really switching on that they've been taken advantage of and they're being manufactured into a position of poverty, ill health, and demonization. So therefore, the art that used to inspire them, the figures that they used to find charming and aspirational, and stuff that used to resonate with them, all of a sudden either feels like a lie, is not reflective of their reality, or again, it feels like it's very manufactured to make light of kind of, or even ignore how truly bad society has gotten. Essentially, when Gaethor has gone through Uttafaguni, it marks the beginning of the social contract breaking. So that means any mediums that were formerly used by the oppressor to kind of keep you in a certain state, all of a sudden it starts malfunctioning. It's no longer appealing. It even made me think about, well, during World War II, we actually had a lot of like Hollywood classics come out, such as like Wizard of Oz, Casablanca. And it's so interesting to me now as an adult where I'm like, it's so wild. The media, the film, and the music being produced at the time doesn't really speak to the genocide that's happening in the background during World War II. It doesn't speak to the huge racial injustices that are occurring in that time. The fact that a lot of the European empires are being like ousted by the countries that they've oppressed and exploited for so long. Then I was thinking about Uttafaguni's power, which has always been a power to make a choice. And when Gaethor comes into this energy, ultimately it's going to piss off people because they become more conscious that it is a intentional choice for the artist or whatever form of media to be indifferent, to be escapist. So i.e. nothing's really happening, it's not that bad. And when you are someone who is feeling the weight of an oppressive, selfish society, regulations, policies, governance, of course their shit is no longer gonna slap. And also, I was thinking, this is exactly the kind of work you would put out in the era of an authoritarian regime, a fascist culture, and essentially the era of censorship. Well, if you're a sellout or you've never really cared for marginalized causes, because as long as you're not being interrupted, what's the gag? As mentioned, astrologically, we are in the downfall of colonialism. So, what that means is God is literally lighting up everything so it intentionally pisses you off. It's meant to make you feel incredibly disconnected to the identity that you built, because for all of us at this moment in time, all our cultures are poisoned by oppression. Our cultures are literally just a reflection of how to survive under oppressive regime. So, in order to actually trigger the downfall of colonialism, that means all the art, all the kind of governance, political styles, education, everything is meant to be malfunctioning, not appealing to us, enraging us. Because if we still enjoy it, that means we would willingly keep our shackles on. Everything happening at the moment is to break you out of the mindset of dreaming of a bigger jail cell or to even turn into your oppressor so you can benefit from their privileges. It's actually daring you to dream of real freedom. But that means we have to change the tools. So, going back to why all this shit's gonna piss you off, it's because it's showing you everything that's wrong in the system. And it's not lost on me how wild it is that Uta Falguni simultaneously symbolizes the media and entertainment industry as well as politics. You know what's really interesting? Uta Falguni basically symbolizes a nervous warrior energy. So it's knowing what you ought to do, but for whatever reason, being too scared to do it. But in this current era, you will be basically shooketh until you actually take the steps. So number one, the reason you're going to be really annoyed at someone like a Taylor Swift is because she is openly showing you the privilege of escapism, but this is nothing new. She always has been. All the times that she released those albums, there have been war, there have been huge social injustices. But why do you think it's now that you want to all of a sudden hear her voice? Because again, this is someone who has always made a career out of a good time, making the best out of sour times. I just have two questions I want you to ask yourself. Number one, why is it that this person would feel like they're having a good time in what we find such a horrific time? And number two, why would they be so keen to kind of be in denial, indifferent about what's actually occurring? Hibiscuses, go a little deeper. Uta Falguni symbolizes organizations and institutions. God is intentionally sending you so many fucking messages that these systems will always fail you, right? Because look at it like this. You will only ever be able to succeed or put out your work if it aligns with the distributors' values and what they think is profitable. But what do you do if everything they value and they think is profitable is aligned with oppression and exploitation? Do you get where we're meant to be going, hibiscuses? Let's really start bringing the picture together. Uta Falguni is not just entertainment, politics, and businesses, but ultimately it symbolizes the ideologies that are considered to make people successful. So, what do we do in a world where whiteness is also the default? So ask yourself, why is it when white artists share their stories, they're seen as more universal? But if we talk a black, a Muslim, an Indian, a Jewish, if we talk people with distinct backgrounds and we got them to share their stories or their art, how come all of a sudden it's only really applicable to a small group or only that group? And then therefore is also seen as not profitable, not really a universal thing, when in reality, marginalized people make up 95% of the earth. How can it be the 5% is a universal experience or the most advertised? Why is it that their work and artistry is automatically always seen as safer, not as devices, it's more unifying? You have to ask, what is it unifying? And is it even unifying? Or is it a really good way of normalizing and getting others to conform when you make it the default art, the default experience? This idea that art is just something for entertainment is inherently oppressive because it means you can afford or you are not in the shooting fire of oppression and exploitation. Hibiscuses. Propaganda is a very powerful tool, and it is more powerful when it is not perceived as propaganda, but just as normal or entertainment.